Ready is 501, week number 3. So this week we're looking at Google Forms. We're looking at summative assessment and other stuff. What else do we have in the Google Fundamentals training? Google Calendar and meetings, Google Meet, basically. Remember, your goal in this course is to look at a unit or 2 units every week in that Google Fundamentals training. And then in week 8, you're going to take the Google Certified Educator Level 1 test. And then once you have that, add that to your resume. You're Google Level 1 certified, I guess, if you pass. But that is a significant portion of this course, and the goal is units 5 and 6 this week. So keep chipping away at that. Even though Forms is not part of unit 5 or 6 in the Google Fundamentals training, Forms is a big part of this week for our course. Not that that's not part of this course, but you know what I mean. So this week you're going to be using Google Forms to create a quiz. You can basically enter quiz mode. There's many ways to learn about it, including the Google Doc that says click here, here, and here to learn how to make a graded Google Form quiz. So I'm not going to walk you through how to do the mechanics of that, but the idea is that you can use a form to actually assess students. In this case, it's going to be summative, which we know is at the end of a unit. I always remember the word summary. Summative is at the end, a summary of all the stuff you learned. Look carefully at the rubric to make sure you're doing all the components of that, including having a blog post, 4 different question types. There's a couple specific things that are not complicated, but if you don't do it, you don't get the points. So please double check that rubric and make sure that you're doing what is required and what is being graded. With that, there are so many ways you can use Google Forms in incredibly creative ways and in incredibly personalized ways. My favorite one is using multiple choice questions and then sections. And then you can go to section based on answer. I'm going to say that one more time. And if you're like standing up, like cooking a meal, like sit down, because this is going to blow your mind. Are you ready? You create different sections, and then a multiple choice response will go to section based on answer. So you can say, like if we have a paragraph or like a short little video that you had from Google Drive, you could be like, hey, like, we're going to talk about a couple different things. Like, I don't know, we don't have time for both. Should we talk about apples or pizza? And then you give 2 choices. And if they click on apple, then go to section based on answer. You have a new section called apple, and it's like, hey, either text or video or image. It looks like you chose apple. All right, let's talk about apples. And if you click on the pizza multiple choice one, you have another section called pizza. And you're like, oh, you chose pizza. Let's keep going. So at its most basic, it is like a choose your own adventure book, right? And I've done this before with students. I've done this in presentations, both with text and with video, because you can add video to different sections. And so it could be like a really creative way to do an interactive book. You could also use it if a student doesn't know what direction to go with writing. They can write part of their book or their chapter or whatever it is, and then give people 2 options, and then they can click on it, go to the end and say, and then here's how it ends, and then ask them to submit. And you actually get analytics from that because you can see how many people chose which answer. So you can actually see which choice in the book is a more effective choice for the reader, or I guess at least which one is more popular. So that's amazing. I mean, so many other possibilities with it. You can actually do like interactive videos where it's like a choose your own adventure book, and each section in a Google form goes to a different part of a video. So like in the like not particularly creative apple and pizza example I gave for you, if someone said like apple, then the next scene in your movie is actually like them going, I will get an apple and eat it. And if they choose pizza, it goes to a different section in the Google form, and they go, dur, 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 I would like a slice of pizza. And so they can actually, it can be like a customized, personalized um, video or text or images or kind of whatever. As you start to combine this with other tools like generative AI, you can actually generate like different images, AI generated images that can like kind of tell a different story in different ways. You can also use it in a less kind of fun way, less creative way maybe. I'm not sure of actually doing a lesson. Like, let me explain a thing in a video, kind of flipped classroom style, and then pause, check for understanding. Is the answer A or B? And if it's A, you're like, oh, that's wrong. And that new section in your Google form is like, let me explain why that section's wrong. And if it's right, you're like, cool, like let's go on and on and on. Or maybe you ask like, was that kind of tricky? Did you guess? Or was that super easy? If they go super easy, they jump ahead to another section. So you can really personalize instruction in a Google form. That's not really how they're meant to be used, but it's a really powerful way to actually build in kind of choice and either show more or show less or show different things based on how students or colleagues or whomever actually like answer the form. So that's what you're going to be doing. Yours is much, much more simpler. You're going to do 10 questions. You're going to do 4 different question types. You're going to make it a quiz so it gets graded. Make sure that it's accessible by me because I need to click through and actually like click on it. And that is what that assignment is. Google Forms is super, super powerful. It's one of those where I think once you start to understand some ideas of what that might be, you're just like, whoa, there's a lot going on here. So that is all for week number 3. It's one of the lighter weeks. I have a middle schooler that is part of my family that is now videotaping me, I think, but we're going to just continue the video.
I'm using filters.
Filters, perfect. All right, I'm going to finish my video here. The last thing, big news from OpenAI, ChatGPT 4.0 is available. If you have not played with it, this is the moment to jump in, sign in with your Google account. You're off to the races. It's no longer you get a previous model for free accounts and like a more advanced model for paid accounts. Everyone now gets access to 4.0. It's just at some point you're going to get cut off and go to a later model at some point if you use it for more than like an hour straight. But if you're using it for less than an hour straight per day, you're going to be on that newest, latest model, which is incredible. That ding you actually heard like 5-10 minutes ago in the notifications was a parent at our school was texting me about one of the new things with GPT 4.0. The O is for Omni, which means very, very soon, like in the next couple days or in the next week or so, you'll be able to use text, which we're already doing, photos, and then actually video, which includes screen sharing. So the idea, and we're very close to this being open to all, and there's plenty of demos around on OpenAI's website if you want to jump into it, is you can share your screen, iPad or laptop, and you can just talk. You hit the headphone button, which is the talk. You just start talking, going, hey, I'm stuck on this math problem. Can you help me walk through it? And whatever's on your screen is whatever ChatGPT can, I hate to say the verb see, but essentially what it can see. If you have an annotation tool, you're on an iPad and you just kind of circle a section, you're like, is this part right? And ChatGPT can respond to you. So when we say video, that's the part that is exceedingly incredible, because either you as a parent with a 5th grader that's like, teach me this math, I'm stuck on my homework, or if you're a 5th grade teacher and you're with them, suddenly each kid can get personalized instruction, and then your job is to kind of classroom management, all of that, and then hopping in and explaining kind of different ways with different students that might be stuck. But if it's just a like, hey, can you check my work? You can just like pop up ChatGPT, circle it, share your screen, and you're off to the races, which is kind of incredible. So that's the O of 4.0 for Omni, the text, the image, and the video. It's or text, audio, and video. Like just being able to talk with it, it's much more conversational. Just as an example, I had an idea about a podcast based on a license plate frame that was upside down on my drive today. So I just hit the headphone icon. I'm driving. And I just start talking. I'm like, hey, I have an idea for a podcast. Help me think through this. That's literally how I started it. Great, Bill. What do you think? And I'm like, I saw this upside down license plate frame, and it made me think about this and that, and kind of workflows in the classroom. Oh, that's interesting. Like it sounds like you're saying this. Yeah. Am I saying no? Actually, I mean it this way. And we wrote out like a whole outline for a podcast episode. I said, all right, I'm almost to work, so give this to me in bullet point format, and then later I'm going to record my podcast using this as my notes. Bullet point format. Sure enough, I got to my school, looked at it, and I have bullet points from the conversations. Like, wild. Also, I'm obviously using it for like the more boring parts of being an adult human that has a job, email, right? So after training it on how I write email, it continues to use it for that. But and that's more the day to day. But there's other like the ability to talk is like really exciting with this new model. So it's exciting stuff. This is a cool time to start to play with it, particularly as the school year wraps up. And I found, particularly at my last school, when there was pressure of like, you have to cover all the material. When it gets to be like middle of May, end of May, that pressure at most of my other schools has eased up, and I'm able to try new interesting things. So being able to play with this new model, ChatGPT 4.0, now's a pretty good time to play with it. So that is all you've got for this week. Keep going with the readings, post that to Jamboard, hop on the Google Fundamentals 2 new units, and have a good time with your Google Forms. And happy week 3, everybody.